Hey guys, it's Stanny T back on the grind, and today we're looking at our two NUX reissue series pedals that we unboxed recently. So we are looking at our NUX Plexi Crunch overdrive distortion type pedal. It's obviously based around a Marshall drive sound. I think it's more JCM 800-esque than Plexi-esque, but it's got that very British crunchy distortion sound and it sounds really good. But it's got that real thick, chewy, British, crunchy distortion sound, perfect for all your rock needs. We've also got our NUX analog delay, which is basically going after those old Ibanez and Maxon analog delays. I've actually got an old Ibanez 8080 analog delay, and the font and color are the exact same. So it's a full-on clone. They're not trying to hide it whatsoever, what this delay pedal is trying to be. Let's talk about the NUX Plexi Crunch distortion pedal first. So I think, well, firstly, it uses the same case as their old Core series. No, it wasn't the Core series. Their old series of pedals that were this size. And I think this might be just a rebadged version of the old NUX high gain pedal. The reason I think that's the case is because it's the same enclosure. Obviously, it looks different, but it's the same enclosure. But the controls are the same controls, they're just labeled different things. So the gain is labeled preamp here, the level is labeled master here, but it's the EQ that I think gives it away. So the tone, according to the instructions of this pedal, shapes the mid frequencies. They either scoop it or they push it. And if you look at that tone control on the NUX high gain, it is doing a mid scoop, mid push thing. Same with the presence control. It says it rolls off the low end or high end, which is what the tone control would do on that NUX high gain. So I think, I'm not sure, don't quote me on it, but I think it might be just a clone, or not even a clone, just like a rebadged NUX high gain pedal. Is that a bad thing? Well, that's up for you to decide. I think it actually sounds really great. I've never tested the old NUX high gain, but I think this sounds really cool just for what it is. I do think it looks really cool though, how it's been rebadged, because it's got like a fake, you might be able to see it. You can see there's like a layer of like fake plexi. It's got the Marshall knobs, it's got the gold, it's got the pattern here. It does look like a really cool plexi pedal. In terms of quality, well, the knobs, they do wobble a bit, I must say. They don't feel super sturdy. They're not super satisfying to turn. Like, you know, when on some pedals you turn them all the way and it just clicks in really nice to the end. These feel quite soft, if that makes sense. It just feels like it's not as high quality as, like, you know, a JHS pedal or a Boss pedal, or, you know, just another well-known brand. But they still feel quality enough to be able to go on a board and do a few gigs. They don't feel like they're going to break easily. I opened up the back to see if I could find anything that alluded to it being a NUX high gain pedal. There was nothing of note in there really, but it looks like a really quality pedal inside. So our analog delay, well, it's a very simple delay. It's got a very short delay time, I found. I think it might be even a bit shorter than my Ibanez 8080 that this seems to be cloning, or at least aesthetically seems to be cloning. I'm not sure about that. I'm going to do a comparison video between this and the 8080, as well as this and another Plexi distortion that I've got, which will be cool. The controls are really simple. Again, it's got the nasty foot switch. It's got the wobbly knobs. These knobs look really cool, I think. Even the font here looks a lot like my Ibanez Delays font. It's really funny how close it is to a lot of the aesthetic features of that Ibanez Delay. I'll put a photo up so you can see them next to each other. And again, I think this might be a rebadged version of the old NUX analog delay because the controls are very similar. I think this one's called Mix on the old one instead of Blend, but it's called Blend on here because it is on the Ibanez. I haven't tested that old analog delay, but I'm willing to take a bet that it's probably a rebadged version of that. Now, I don't know. I would love for NUX to confirm or deny that, but it's in the same casing as well as those old pedals. It's in the same casing as this. This just has the fake Plexi front. Okay, so what do I think of these two NUX pedals? What are the pros? What are the cons of these pedals? So let's start with the pros, and I'll put a list somewhere on the screen so you can read it as well. Well, the pros, I think they both look really cool. This one especially, I think looks amazing. And this one is just a really funky and unique look for a cheap pedal. I think it's really cool to see something that's a bit more classy than like a really cheap graphic and then like a music note in the logo of the company like K-Line or Joyo, which I just think looks so tacky. But yeah, so I think these look really cool. I think this sounds really cool. This is really simple to use and it's got a lot of sounds in it, I think, which is really cool. This is like a really simple, straightforward delay. I mean, I have no complaints. It just sounds like a good analog delay. We'll see how it compares to the Ibanez in another video, but yeah, this is good. This is really cool. I think also they're gonna last a long time if you put them on a pedal board. They're gonna be a really good addition to any pedal board, I think. Like I said before, they're not built to like top quality, but they're quality enough where they're gonna last on your pedal board and they're going to last through your gigs. You're not going to have any issues with them, I don't think. I think they're built pretty robust and ready for gigging and ready for a pedal board or whatever you use them for. Okay, so the cons. Well, they both have the worst foot switch of all time. They've both got this really, like, it just feels really nasty to use. It's got a really nasty click and a really nasty tactile feedback on the foot switch. I'm sure the quality of the foot switch is fine, but yeah, they're just a really gross foot switch to use. I know that's a minor thing, but it is what it is and it's worth noting for me anyway. The knobs, they are a bit wobbly on the potentiometers, so they don't feel super quality. I must say, I think that's the main giveaway that this is a cheaper pedal is the knobs, if I'm honest. I think everything else looks pretty dope, looks pretty classy about it. This one especially, I think, looks pretty, not expensive, but it looks not like a cheap pedal whatsoever. But the knobs do let it down. They just feel really cheap and nasty. And the same goes for this one. The knobs feel really cheap and nasty. They're wobbling on the potentiometers. Same gross foot switch. So while these are quality enough to go on a board and they'll last a few gigs and I don't think they're going to break, I just don't feel like they're the same quality as like Boss and MXR and JHS and Wampler and all those more expensive crossing into boutique pedals. They just don't feel as quality as those. But please let me know what you think of these pedals in the comments below. Please let me know what you think of the sounds, what you think of the looks. Is there any feedback you would give to these pedals to make them a bit better quality? Please comment it all down below in the comments. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate you subscribing and liking and sharing this video. If there's a forum or Facebook group that you're in that you think would benefit from a video like this and would open up a good discussion, feel free to share it there. I love when they get shared to places like that. And that's it for my general overview of these two NUX pedals from their new reissue series. I'm going to do more videos with these pedals later on. I'm going to do some comparisons and some individual sound tests. So make sure you're subscribed and stay in tune for those videos. And other than that, I think that's all I got to say. So I will see you guys in the next video.